time. So what are we up to with these videos? Well, hopefully we've been building up a bit of a knowledge base as to what various notes do in cross-key blues harmonica. We got up to the 7th in the last video, and in this video we'll deal with the last draw note that we're going to consider, which is the 2nd. So first the 2nd, then the lowered 2nd, as shown by the blue arrows. Now this particular 2nd on hole 6 is the last draw note that can be bent. Above this it's the blow notes that bend. And for me it's the highest draw note I tend to use, and it has an appropriate flavour as being the extreme end of my range. It has a kind of wildness about it. Let's turn to the blow notes now. Wow, this is a cluttered diagram, but if you look closely you'll see that there are only 3 different kinds of notes: fourths, sixths and tonics. And as I mentioned before, there's actually a recurring pattern: 4th, 6th tonic, 4th, 6th tonic, all the way up to the top of the instrument. So that's the first point. There are a small number of different kinds of note. The next point is that the blow notes are actually much more straightforward. You don't get the subtle nuances that you get with the draw notes, which are primarily, of course, blue notes. So the blow notes are simpler to execute, you might say. So for these 2 reasons, we can really consider the blow notes pretty much as a group. However, we'll take out the tonics as a special subgroup of the blow notes and discuss them separately first. Now there are actually 3 tonics on the instrument. Now the 3rd note there is a tonic of hole 9, which is further than I normally play, further up the instrument. It's the previous 2 tonics that for me are of greatest interest, and these serve as reference points. So if I pick up the instrument, say I'm going to jam with a band or I'm going to actually play, I'll go into the position where I can access the 3rd hole blow, and that is the lower tonic. Once I've got that reference point established, I can then go to all the notes round about. So from that hole 3 blow, if I draw, I'm up to the major 3rd. I can get the blue 3rd from that. I can go to hole 2 draw from the hole 3 blow, which of course is also a tonic, and from there bend down to the lowered 7th, and I can go to the bottom hole, which is the 5th, and the lowered 5th. So all those notes are available from this initial reference point, the lower tonic of hole 3 blow. Now I can then go up to the upper part of the instrument by a run from one tonic to the other, the lower blow tonic to the next blow tonic. Once I'm up there, that's a secondary reference point and I have access to the 2nd. Just by bending, or rather just by drawing on that same mouth position. And the lowered 2nd, as I go down from there, that is the 7th, of course, the lowered 7th. I've talked about that as a kind of a stepping stone to the lower part of the instrument. So this then connects up the 2 tonics. That leaves only one set of notes left to look at, the fourths and the sixths. Actually, although these are the last notes to consider, these fourths and sixths I've actually been using all the time in any passage that I play. They provide the links between the important draw notes, and they lend an overall depth to your playing. You can't just draw all the time, even though your evocative notes tend to be draw-ins. So whenever you have this kind of stepwise motion, every time you blow, and if it's not a tonic, it's a fourth or a sixth. So these notes are very important in their own way. They do have an importance in another way as well, in a different context, but in this context it's unaccompanied playing and there's no structure as such. There's a one chord feel implicit throughout. It's not a 12-bar format, and so in this role the fourths and sixths are simply providing the links between the draw notes. We are at last now able to play intuitively, at least in this kind of unaccompanied context, where you can play as you feel. With this knowledge resource that we have now, you can understand what you play and you can just let the music flow out of you. Now, it might seem a big step from the just simple alternation of notes that we were doing before that little passage, but we can bridge that gap just by talking about a few other points which will be in the next video.